Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 5 of the 5-day challenge of Decode, Empower, and Prosper. So tonight we are pulling it all together. Over the last 4 days, we have gone through the different elements of your human design that give you the keys to understanding an overarching purpose of your life, how to get into alignment with your energy, some of the key areas where you are broadcasting energy, taking in energy, and how this might be impacting you on the day to day. We've looked at the indicators so that you can see where you're out of alignment, how to get back into alignment. And now we're going to pull it all together in a cohesive way so that you are able to go forward and really move out of that hustle into the flow with understanding your human design. And there's always there is obviously going to be an offer if you would like to go deeper, if you would like to go one-on-one and really get to know in a more intimate way your design. If that speaks to you, then I'd love to have a conversation to see how we can do that working together. So I'm just going to share screen and we will get into it. All right, we've got that screen up there. Day 5 of our challenge, Decode, Empower, Prosper, shifting from hustle to flow. So there's a quote: your nervous system will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And when we're coming into our human design and understanding the energetics of our body, our nervous system is used to doing things a particular way and keeping us safe through that. And so it's always going to choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And what we're getting to and where we're going with this is when you learn to trust and take those steps towards aligning with your design, that is the unfamiliar heaven that we're getting to. And understanding, bringing that wisdom into it, it's going to let go and release that familiar hell that some of us have been experiencing. So we have learned a lot in the last 4 days, wrapping up to the day 5. So how do we apply it in everyday life? How are we going to get practical with this? Because it sounds nice, Kelly, but I'm a busy woman. You know, we're all busy people. We've all got the distractions. And it's really about if we can just take some pauses in our day. And so I'm not asking you to do a lot. What I'm asking is, well, your body's asking at me. I'm not really asking anything. Your body is saying, hey, can you please listen to me? So when we take this pause, and Brendan Burchard, he's one of the mentors that I have followed for a long time. He says that when we're creating new habits, we want to anchor it to something, or trigger it. Right. So a lot of my morning habits are very sequential. I'll give you an example. My alarm goes off at 3:40 every morning. And when it goes off, that's when I put on my first meditation for the day. And I have a Joe Dispenza one. After my Joe Dispenza meditation, I do a to be magnetic meditation. And that's all about embodiment. Again, getting me into the grounding and expansion or regulating my nervous system. There's a lot of different ones that are available in to be magnetic. From there, I go on to a 528 hertz musical instrumental meditation, and then I do my some Chinese energy movements, getting the chi flow in my body. And after that one, I do a 432 hertz instrumental as well while I read affirmations. And my affirmations are typically aligned with my design. So it's looking at the different strategy and authority, and then the gates and the channels and what how I am designed to operate so that I can embody that throughout my day. And it's just a little reminder of my power in the morning. So that is how I wake up in the mornings. And then once my meditation session has finished, then I move into typically a learning. And I'm still in bed while I do this. So my learning is either from Ra Uruhu, or I'm often doing a course. So it might be some coursework or catching up on a replay, those sort of things. And then after that, it's around 5:30 and it's time for my shower and then into my day. The other little thing that I do is when I brush my teeth, I brush with my non-dominant hand, because Jim Quick, who is the brain expert, tells us that when we brush with our non-dominant hand, it's activating our brain and getting some coherence there. And then I also squat while I'm doing that, because another expert has told me, and this is what feels good for my body, is that when we're in that squatting position, which a lot of the Asian countries typically still do, and their bodies are more supple and pliable and pliant than our Western body. So getting into that squat position while I'm brushing my teeth gives me a little bit more flexibility in my body. And that's one of the things you'll see up here behind me. That's actually my vision board, little photos of the things that I am manifesting in my life. And flexibility, slim toned body is one of those things. You'll see my smile, my eyesight, all sorts of things on there. So yeah, it's when we have something attached to or trigger or anchored to a habit, then we remember to do that habit. So what I'm about to suggest is, when you have your morning drink, take that pause and just feel into, have I felt any frustration? Have I felt any anger? Have I been feeling any bitterness or disappointment or those sort of things? Just take that moment to reflect while you've got that cup in your hand. And so it's not about making massive changes in your life. It's about recognizing the energy incrementally throughout the day, and little shifts make a big impact. Okay, because as you become more conscious, then it becomes more powerful, it becomes more obvious. So we have covered our energy type, our strategy, our not self theme, our signature, our authority, our energy centers, our profile, incarnation cross, and pearl sequence. So there is a whole lot that I have squeezed into those 4 days. And we're going to get into how do we apply it in everyday life. Step 1 is awareness. So as I said, just take a pause. Manifestors, are you behaving like a manifester? Are you feeling that urge, that creative urge in you, that urge to do something new, to bring something forward? Are you honoring that urge? Are you behaving like a manifester? Generators, are you behaving like a generator? Are you responding to what life is bringing you? Are you being lit up? Are you feeling lit up throughout your day, or even in little pockets of your day? Where can you recognize the things that are lighting you up and be like, oh, yes, that's my generator energy. Yes, this is how I'm supposed to be feeling. Yes, this is my life speaking to me, right? Manifesting generators, are you too having those moments of where you are lit up, stopping to recognize or pausing to recognize, I'm lit up here. I am feeling this urge. I'm feeling a creative urge to do something. How can I, take note of that? Because it depends on our strategy and authority, as we know, as to when the timing is right for these things. Projectors. Are people asking you for invitations? Are they inviting you to speak, or are you offering your wisdom? So take a pause and look at your audience and just think, was I invited? Have I been recognized? Am I trying to act like a generator and do all this work when I'm feeling quite depleted and I need a rest? So projectors, if you're needing the rest, where can you take the rest? Where can you build rest into your day? Where can you build rest into your routine? What would feel good for you? And start recognizing those patterns where your body is crying out for rest. Your body is letting you know, hey, come on, babe, let's just take a pause. Please, please, please. And reflectors, are you acting like a reflector? Are you trying to be staunch and like that this is your direction, or that this is your opinion? Are you trying to fit in, or are you feeling out of sorts? So take a pause and just feel into it as a reflector. What is the environment saying to me? What am I picking up here? What are the vibes of these people that I'm hanging out with? What is going on? And when we bring awareness to it, when we just slow down a little bit and recognize where our energy might be whispering or shouting at us, then we are starting the journey. And that's just a very simple but very practical way of how you can start operating with your energy. The next step of awareness is your not self theme. Manifestors, are you feeling angry? Has somebody stopped your flow? Is there somebody that you need to inform? And recognizing the different ways that you feel angry. So it's something that you need to experiment with, because I'm not a manifestor. I've got the manifesting generator energy, and I can speak to how I can feel triggered and angry when I'm trying to work, and then other people are talking to me like we're in the middle of a conversation. I'm just like, oh my goodness, read the room. I'm trying to work here. And so that's how it shows up for me. But as a manifestor, how is it showing up for you? Take note of it. Note it down. I felt angry when. I felt angry when this happened. I felt angry when that happened. And we're taught not to feel angry. We're taught to always be pleasant. We're taught to push through, but honor the anger. I'm not saying to have an outburst, but recognize it. Recognize it so that when it comes up, you can recognize that you are out of alignment and you can see how to get back into alignment. Generators, are you feeling frustrated? Are you picking up the slack of other people? Are you doing the things that you feel obliged to do? Are you feeling that you need to force things? Are you feeling frustrated that things aren't going fast enough? People aren't doing what you need them to do? What's frustrating you? Take notice of what is frustrating you. Write it down. Keep notes so that when this frustration comes up, you can see similar themes. You can recognize your frustration in action, and then you can take a pause and see, this is my energy giving me information. What am I going to do with it? Are you feeling a bit of both, manifesting generators? That frustration from trying to force things, that frustration of other people's expectation, that anger from being interrupted when you're in the flow. Take note, the anger and frustration, When is it showing up? What are you doing? Take the pause and take notice of what the energy, what information the energy is sharing with you. Okay. For our projectors, are you feeling bitter or resentful? Again, taking notice of when this is occurring, what's going on in your world when you're feeling these feelings, so that you can recognize the energy in action. It's just giving you information. It's giving you something to work with. It's giving you an indicator. So none of these not self themes are bad. They're just information allowing you to recognize where you're at, what your energy is doing, and where you're out of flow. For our reflectors, are you feeling disappointed? Where are you? What's going on? Who are you hanging out with? What's happening in your environment? What is happening? What's going on with your work? What's going on with your people? What's going on with your environment? Where is this disappointment coming from? And take the pause, take notice, so that you can see and be aware, so that you can then get into the action, step 2. So, and the action is bringing in your strategy. And we say action, but it's not in the masculine sense of go, go, go. So it's our manifestors. Are you initiating? Are you following the urge? Are you informing the people who are going to be impacted? So it's an energetic flow rather than a forcing. It's not, I've set a goal and I'm going to achieve it come hell or high water. It's energy in action. So there's that nuance there. And as part of the experiment, you're going to sense the energy versus the mindset, the goal. So we're moving out of mindset. That's one of the keys here. A lot of coaches and a lot of business people will say it's all in the mindset. And could be partly true, but when we looked at our energy centers, we saw that 70% of people have an open head, and that's a pressure center. So there's a lot of pressure there. And I have been, in my experiment, I've got an open head and an open ajna, and there's times when I'm a bit blank because I've practiced allowing things to flow through. So I'm not holding on to the things that I don't need to hold on to. So I can have blank moments because I've emptied my head, which is a little bit strange. But I'm relying on the energy. I'm trusting myself now that the energy will come, because the energy is, the information is in there. And when it comes up in the right time. So moving out of mindset into body wisdom. Okay, so our manifestors, following that initiating urge and informing the people. Our generators and manifesting generators, responding to what life is bringing them. So if you're feeling frustrated and you take the pause, see what shows up for you. Just, it doesn't take long, but sometimes it's not obvious. So be open. And this is the practice. This is the new life. It's being open to what is coming to you. And by all means, carry on as you normally would, but be open and open your awareness to the energy that's coming to you. Okay. And that's, I'm going to say promote the planner, but I'm just going to suggest the planner because it's got the tools in there for you to use. It's got space for you to recognize the not self theme coming up. It's got space for you to recognize your strategy in action. It's got space for you to recognize the signs and synchronicities. It's got space for you to note down your authority. So it's an all-in-one thing, and it's got space for you to note your mood. So for the manifestors, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling peace? Are you feeling, just midway between? For the manifesting generators, it's got the whole spectrum in there. For the projectors, it's got your moods there, from success to the bitterness. So that's the reason that I suggest it. So our generators and manifesting generators, are you responding to what life is presenting you? And then for the manifesting generator, when the urge comes, are you recognizing that urge and recognizing it in the separating it from your mind to your body wisdom? Because sometimes it's just a distraction. It's a shiny object that is attracting you mentally versus something that is attracting you energetically. Our projectors, are you recognizing the invitations? And if the invitation isn't coming, you're not just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for an invitation. You're going deep into your skill set. You are honing your craft. You are playing. You are resting. You are living. You're living a full life with work, rest, play, learn. All the things, just recognizing that your energy needs space for rest. Okay, we all need space for rest. Let me be clear on that. We all need space for rest. So all of us should be recognizing our energy at work, and when the energy is exhausted, for our generators and manifesting generators, also knowing that there is time for learning and play and rest. So making sure that you are honoring that and listening to your body. All right, so projectors, having space for that rest, honoring your rest cycle and recognizing the invitations and the recognition, and being able to move in that. And again, if you're not feeling the invitations or the recognition coming to you, recognize yourself. Do that mirror work. Pump yourself up. You are a rock star. I know projectors, they are fantastic. They have a gift to give us. And when you recognize yourself, that energy is going out in your aura and inviting the invitations. It's pinging other people's auras to get that energy to come back to you. Okay? Trust the energy. And if you can't trust it yet, experiment and see what happens. Okay, and our reflectors. Are you sampling the energy? Are you following your lunar cycle? So recognizing as the moon flows through those 64 gates, how it impacts you. And this can be a really interesting exercise to do as you go through the months and take note of the lunar cycle. See where the energy is in the gates. And if you want to talk more about that, we can certainly look at the transits, and I can show you how to do that. Okay, step 3 is looking for the confirmation. So awareness of your authority. Our emotional authorities. You've got your solar plexus colored in, defined. Are you allowing your emotional wave to process the information? Are you sleeping on it? Are you saying, I love that idea, but let me just take a minute. Let me take a beat. Let me get back to you. That's a lot of information to process. I will get back to you. I just need time to sit with that information, and I will get back to you. And then allow the information to process and check in. And if it's not ready yet, if you're still umming and ahhing, then you can be like, okay, the timing's not right. The timing may not be right for a while. And this is for big decisions, and you can experiment with smaller decisions. But sometimes the bigger decisions take more time, which makes sense from our head. But allowing that emotional wave to process the information is a practice, okay? And it takes time, and it's something that you do need to experiment with. And as you get further and further into your design, you'll get to know what it feels like. You'll get more familiar with it. But for a lot of people, with the emotional authority, they already typically don't make decisions in the heat of the moment. I'm trying to think if I do. There are some decisions that I make in the heat of the moment, but some of them are shiny object syndrome. I'm not going to lie, I still do it. And others are, but they're not high ticket items. Others are, I'm just so lit up that I will go, and I'm okay with figuring out afterwards if that was a great decision or not. But for the most part, big decisions, I am sleeping on it, and I do nervous system regulation. So I will be doing the deep breathing. I will be talking to little Kelly inside saying, hey, honey, it's okay. Because I get that, I get the nervousness welling up. I do get fear welling up. And I think that's normal. Pretty sure that's normal, because we've grown up without nervous system regulation. And now that I know about it, I'm doing all this work and working on inner me and little me and my inner child, and my internal family systems as well as another area that I'm learning about. So yeah, being kind to myself has been one of the biggest things I have come to in human design. It's being kind and allowing myself to learn to trust myself. I do relate it back to school a lot, in that I've done 12 years of traditional schooling. So why wouldn't I want to allow myself 12 years of learning about myself? And when we look at our cell, what's it called? Cellular regeneration. See that empty head? Cellular regeneration. They say every 7 years your body is recreated. And so in human design, they talk about this too, a 7-year cycle from when you start operating in your design. In 7 years, you will have come through one cycle of having your cells regenerated with the knowledge of your design. So that energy is operating in an aligned way and not the not self way anymore. So I encourage you to start experimenting as soon as possible. But back to the lesson. I do go off on tangents a bit, so I apologize for that. Our generators, what is, oh yes, sacral center, which is going to be a generator or a manifesting generator. What is lighting you up? If it's lighting you up, you've got the go ahead. If you've got the energy for it, that sacral center wants to say yes to everything. So if you are getting lit up and you've got the energy for it and you know that this is going to bring you that satisfaction, then it's a yes for you. For our splenic authority, are you listening and hearing the inner whispers? Are you paying attention to them? Are you acting on them? Or are you the type of person who at the moment is saying, oh yeah, I knew it. Oh yes, I knew that. I knew that would happen. I knew that would happen. Yeah, I knew it. And if you knew it, then, and you could have acted before and acted on that information. So if you're hearing yourself going, oh, I knew it, then note that I knew it and I'm recognizing it after the fact. But what about the knowing before it happened? So take note of, I think my spleen is telling me that this is going to happen, and then see what happens and just build that trust. So when you're hearing the whisper or you're hearing the nudge, or even if you're hearing, because as I said, our body is, or our energy is always supporting us. So you might hear a whisper and then it might turn to a nudge and then it might turn to something else. So take note and see if you ignored the first step, how it shows up in the second time around trying to get your attention. Okay, now for our self-projected authorities, are you speaking it out and hearing yourself come to realizations? So take note of that. Voice note, if you've got a soundboard, if you've got a trusted panel, if you've got people you can trust who are willing to listen and hold space for you, then that is where you're going to have your authority validated, recognized. You'll get your confirmation. For our mental and environmental authority, are you making space for your realizations to come? Again, similar to the self-projected, but because it's head and throat, up, throat, ajna, head, can be any combination of those three without any of the lower parts of the energy centers. It's really about being able to differentiate between the energy and the mind. So that is very nuanced as well. And so take note of what realizations come versus what you're thinking. So it's not pros and cons, it's not logical, but it's those realizations that will drop in for you. And then our reflectors, again, it's that lunar authority, following the planets, sensing how your energy is changing. And then, as I was saying in the last piece, when you know where the moon is throughout those 64 days, if you're able to track that and see how you feel when you can recognize where the moon is, then you will know what is you and what is the external energies that are coming at you. So our cornerstone of everything is our energy type, our strategy, and our authority. So if you take nothing else away from these 5 days, if you walk away knowing your energy type, strategy, and your authority, which includes your not self and your signature themes, then this can have a massive shift in your life. And it just excites me so much that if you do walk away and you implement this with everything that I'm trying to squeeze in there, if you are able to implement it for you, for your children, for your family, this can just give you such a, I don't know how to explain it, a deep breath of relief, of pause, of space, because you recognize that you no longer have to do the hustle, you no longer have to do the grind. And while it can be awkward before it's elegant as we navigate the shift, you've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and you've got the tools, and you're able to take away from this enough to do life differently. And it's in the pauses, it's in the awareness, it's in the recognition, and then just taking a moment to align. And if you fall out of alignment, it's okay, because you can come back in. And it's like exercise. When you practice, your muscles get stronger. And when you practice coming back into alignment with your energy, your body wisdom gets stronger, your self-trust gets stronger, and you just get to step into your magic. And when you are in that alignment, the other pieces unfold, like we talked about last night. Your incarnation cross gets the space to bloom, and you get into your purpose. You become more fulfilled, you become more relaxed, more at peace with yourself, more at peace with life, more at peace with others, because you recognize that we all have our own design and we're all operating according, or our energy's trying to express. And if it's not, if we're in that conditioning, then we have so much grace to give others. Oh, just love this. Okay, so there are layers and there is nuance. So if you just take away your energy type, strategy, authority, not self and signature theme, you are good. You are golden. But if you go deeper, if you scratch the surface, there is so much more in there. So we've got the energy centers, and that is recognizing how you've been conditioned. So when we look at the head center, I talk about being empty-headed these days. And that's because I'm a sieve, not a sponge anymore. I used to, and I still can, I take in a lot of information, and I can be like, oh, I heard this on this podcast, or I read this book and this is what it said. But I'm not trying to hold it in there. I'm allowing it to be in there. And there's a big difference. There's a lot less effort involved on my part. And it just feels so much nicer. With the Ajna center, we've got that pressure alleviated in my head. Then we come down to the Ajna center, where it's about, if you've got this defined, you can be very fixed in your opinions. And if you don't have it defined, you can be feeling like, what is wrong with me? I can't even stick to an opinion. I think everyone's right. I'm good with this opinion. And I can also see the other side of this opinion, because you're open-minded. You don't need to have certainty. You don't need to have a fixed opinion. You don't need to be staunch in your beliefs, because that's not the way you're designed. You're designed to be open-minded. So embrace that open-mindedness and allow those people with the defined centers to flow in their way. So it's okay. And then if you've got that defined center and you're strong in your beliefs and you're strong in your opinions and you're strong in your mind and the way that you mentally process, recognize that a lot of us have an open mind center. So we're not going to have the same way of processing information that you do. And that's a gift for you. And it's also a gift for us. So we can take, if we've got the open centers, we are taking in wisdom from this. That is where we are learning wisdom in our energy. And it's where we have, we also can be intuitive about what other people need in those areas, because we've got that open energy where we are taking in the information from others. And if you've got that fixed energy, then that is your gift that you're able to broadcast out. And same as we come down to the throat center, if you've got the open throat center, it may be that you're picking up the energy of others where they might be holding themselves back and they want to speak up, and you find yourself speaking up on their behalf because you're amplifying that energy. And if you've got the defined throat center, it's getting familiar with the way that your communication is designed. Then we come down to the G center. If you have that undefined, you're open. You can be a little bit of a chameleon. You can fit into a lot of different situations because you're not fixed in your identity and fixed in your direction. And yet, when you do have that fixed or defined center, then you've got that consistent energy. And you have that sense of purpose. You have that love, that self-love. You have that direction. And that's your gift. And then with the open center, you've got the gift of being able to help other people find their direction and other people find their self-love. And you can see the value and the worth in other people. So when we hear that one is defined and that's broadcasting and that's a gift, recognize that when it's open, it's also a gift and it's a wisdom portal for us. Okay, when we get to the heart center, then we've got the willpower, the ego, the energy, the motor center for our defined energies, and that is a gift. But it can also be overpowering for others. And when we don't have that center defined, when we've got the heart center open, then it can be a feeling, if we're still learning about that energy and it's open, it can be a feeling of needing to prove ourselves, a feeling of not feeling self-motivated, a feeling of not being able to price ourselves appropriately. So lowering our prices because we're not feeling that whole sense of self-worth. And that is the lesson to be learned, learning that you are inherently worthy of all that you desire. And then also with that open center, having the intuition to help others see their worth. So gifts either way, like you cannot lose with your human design. And I come from, when you go deeper into your human design, you'll get to know your motivations. And my motivation is innocence, right? I have this glass half full, rose-colored glasses, a little bit, what's the word? Naive, I guess, right? I know that there is horrors in the world, but I either don't see them or choose not to see them because I protect my energy. And that has always been the case for me. Like, there's some jokes I just don't get, but I do laugh along because that open G center wants to feel like it belongs. But I come at my whole life with innocence. So where other teachers may teach you that the shadows and the gifts, I see the gifts and I see the shadows as gift, because we can go from the shadow and spiral up, because as we step into following our strategy and authority, we're going to level up. We're going to see the things fall away. That's been my experience. And as I invite you to follow your design, that can be your experience too. And it's not that I'm not aware of the shadows, because I know that my shadow of unworthiness and having my lower prices is there, but I also know that it's a wisdom portal for me to learn from. And I take that gift. I take that gift as the wisdom portal. So moving on, we come down to the sacral center, and that sacral center, if we've got that open, we know that we need to rest. Okay. So, and knowing that it's open, looking for spaces where you can rest, looking for when your body is telling you to rest. When you've got that defined sacral center, you've got the energy. Your body is saying yes to the things. It wants to burn up that energy. But know that you also need rest. So you can't go forever. And when you also are saying no to the wrong things, your energy is going to be drained. So the sacral loves to say yes, and it can say yes to the wrong things. Then we've got our solar plexus, our emotional center. If you have that defined, you are designed to follow your emotional wave. And we described those different waves the other night when we went through the authority piece. If you don't have that center defined, then, then you are being a sieve and not a sponge. You are taking that awareness and allowing yourself to get the lesson of, am I going to take on this other energy that is not mine, but I'm amplifying it? Or am I going to let that pass through? Or am I going to listen to what that information is telling me and see how I can serve that person? I feel like this is showing up. Is there anything you want me to help you with? Do you want me to listen? Do you want me to suggest a solution? Okay, so you can take that wisdom and that gift of that open center and use it, or you can take your emotionally defined center and ride the waves. All such good fun. Then we've got our splenic center on the other side. That's our intuition, our fears, our survival, our well-being. So if you've got this center defined, you are processing your intuition in a consistent way. It's going to be flavored by the gates as well. All of these centers are going to have flavors of the gates. If you've got that splenic center open, then you've got some lessons to learn in there. It can be holding on to things for too long that aren't healthy for you. It can be trying to belong because you want that sense of security, because that splenic center wants to feel safe. It's got that survival instinct. It's going to latch on to things to feel safe, to survive. You're going to be wanting to look at your well-being, making sure you're taking care of yourself. And if your well-being is off, then paying attention. What else have we got in there? Some timing in there as well. So you want to have a look at how are you working with time? Are you always running late? Are you running behind schedule? What do you need to do there? What wisdom can come from that? Oh, that's a bit of a run through. And finally, we've got our root center. So our root center, again, a pressure center, pushing up to the emotions, up to the spleen for our well-being, our fears, our intuition. And then we've got it pushing up through the sacral, going up to the G center and up to the throat. So there's a lot of pressure in there. And if you have that center defined, looking at your gates, what energy is trying to be expressed through there. Also knowing that with that defined center, you can handle the stress, you can handle the pressure. Doesn't mean that you need to handle everything. So again, pay attention to the energy. With the open center, learning that that pressure and that stress from those deadlines that we want to let pass through. But you're going to feel the pressure, recognize the pressure, let the pressure go. Okay. All right, so that's our energy centers. Our definition, we talked about if you're a single definition, the information is flowing consistently. If you've got that triple split, working around people in the cafes, going for a walk in a shopping center, if you're working in a team, if you're in an office in a busy environment where other people's auras are coming into connection with yours, that is going to help the information flow a little more smoothly. If you've got the split definition, then having someone who bridges that gap, having someone in that energy is going to help things flow a little smoothly, or just knowing that it's going to take a little bit more time for your information to process through your energy. In the profiles, that was a really interesting one. I love the profiles. That gives you permission to learn the way that you learn, express the way that you learn, take time out if you're the line 2 hermit, understand the importance of your relationships if you're a line 4. Your network is your the things that you want to nurture. And if the wrong people are in your network, you want to be looking at that and coming back to your strategy and your authority to seeing who are the right people for your network. Our 3s are going to be the experimenters, understanding that trial and error is your way of life. I've got the line 3. So when I say that, it's like I say it with such relief, because there's sometimes I think, oh my God, am I doing something again? Am I starting something new? Am I experimenting with something new? Have I even paid attention to the last experiment and not measured it? Give yourself grace. And then our 5s, you're going to be projected on. Know this. Give yourself grace, give yourself space, come back to your strategy and your authority to be. Strategy says respond. Strategy says inform. Strategy says wait for the invitation, or strategy says to sample the energy. And then don't take the projection personally. Just know that it's your energy that is going to invite it, because you have the solutions. And again, your solutions are going to be best delivered following your strategy and your authority. You are magical, but your magic is not for everyone. And this is what your profile is going to teach you. It's what your strategy and authority are going to guide you towards. Yeah, there's so much juice in here. Personality sun, it's what you're here to share. So pay attention to that. As I said, if you want to dive into that, put it in the group and we can have a look at that. Incarnation cross, your path of purpose. That's going to blossom and bloom when you're following your strategy and authority. But it's going to give you a good indication of what your life is going to bring. Mine is the incarnation cross, left incarnation cross of education. So here I am sharing all that I can in the time that we have together. And I don't know if I shared this, but when my kids were in school, I didn't like school, but I became a board chair. My kids were in school in New Zealand, so where they have school of trustees or board of trustees, primary school, intermediate school, high school. I was on all the school boards. I became the chair of the Auckland Regional School Trustees Association. I loved that stuff, but I didn't like school. But I did love being able to impact the way that our teachers deliver and hold them accountable for making sure that all children are served. So yeah, that started in 2014. So I would have been in 73, I don't know. I'm going to say it would have been pretty much timed with moving into the North Node, like we talked about the other day. All right. So where it's all heading, your personality sun, what you're here to share. So that is 70% of your purpose. Incarnation cross, the path of your purpose, and your pearl sequence being that path of prosperity. So strategy and authority, energy type, strategy, authority, knowing when you're out of alignment and knowing how to get back into alignment so that you feel your signature. That is the juice. And when you're following that, all of this unfolds. Okay. All right. So we're going to go through quickly, run through manifestors. So Yvette, you want to be informing people. You are a 1-3 profile. So going deep, getting all that information in, unpacking it, bringing it out in your own way, experimenting with it, learning by doing. What else have we got in here? All of your centers are actually pink, so they're not conscious. So you may not recognize this energy as strongly showing up for you, but you have got the gate 7 in your personality sun. That gate 7 has energy of leadership, like an army general. You know how to pull things together and get people where they need to go. So, you've got completely open sacral center, completely open heart center. So a lot of intuition in here, a lot of intuition. Storm and Rachel, what have we got here? Another 1-3. Storm, again, loving to learn, going deep, unpacking, experimenting with what you learn, sharing that out. We've got that sacral center, and we've got the emotional solar plexus. Oops, let me go back to Yvette. You've got the emotional authority. Storm's got the emotional authority. Rachel's got the emotional authority. All needing to sleep on it to make your decisions. Did I say, Yvette, you need to be informing the people? that when you're initiating something, informing, and you love to be informed. So let people know that they need to tell you what they're doing, so that you're informed and you can reciprocate. Okay, Storm and Rachel, what am I seeing here? Both generators, both with the emotional authority. We have Rachel with the defined hidden ajna, so having that mind processing things naturally. Storm with the open hidden ajna, a lot of mental pressure coming in there, so sieve, not a sponge with that. Both got the open throat center, which is interesting. Again, you've got different flavors there with the gates that are activated. So with this, it is knowing when the timing is right to speak. So bringing awareness to when you're speaking. Are you speaking to be heard? Are you feeling like nobody's seeing you or nobody's listening to you? And then be okay with that pressure to speak, because it's got that openness in it. Be okay with that being a sieve and not a sponge. And then when you have that timing right, because your solar plexus is going to give you some right timing there for when the time is right to speak. Okay, that emotional wave is going to let you know. We have got the line gate 5 here going up to the 15, so there's going to be a lot of finding your rhythm there, Storm. And 64 here with Rachel, it is this is the gate of, what did I say the other day? See, I'm having a bit of a blank here. After completion. So there is going to be some circling around looking for epiphanies. Gate 47 gives us some epiphanies there. All right. Lisa and Tiger. Lisa's got that single definition going on there. 15, that gate 15 is the love of humanity. Also the gate of extremes. So it would make sense for Lisa to be going from one extreme to the other, also accepting people from the different extremes of life. Tiger's got the 38, which is down here from the root. So there's that pressure to fight for what is right and looking for the things that are worth fighting for. And we have that one connected there, connected there, connected there. Split definition. So allowing time for information to process. Projectors, Chrissy, we've got the emotional authority, so sleeping on it. We've got that gate 2 in here. Gate 2 is learning to receive. Gate 37, Shelley Lynn, that is, you've got that channel there, which is the channel of bargains, like being the hub of your community, being the one who likes to break bread with the people that you are doing deals with. Handshakes are really important, strong bonds, things like that. What is important to you? Chrissy's got that defined head and ajna all the way down to the throat. So processing things in a consistent way. And Shelley Lynn, just learning to be a sieve and not a sponge with all the mental pressure that you feel. And reflector, Sandra, follow the lunar cycle. All right, I'll just skip back here because we've got a 6-2 here with Shelley Lynn. And I think I saw another 6-2. Tiger's a 6-2 with that profile. And Rachel is a 6-2. So I'll quickly go back over that. That line 6 is going to be the role model after 50. For the first 30 years, you're in the line 3 mode of experimenting, living life by experimenting with it. Then after 30, you're going into the on the roof phase to integrate all your life lessons, Bring that out after 50 to be that role model energy. And then the 2 is you've got things that you are naturally good at, and other people are going to draw that out of you by letting you know, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, I see you've done that. You're so good at that. Oh, you're so good at that. Can you show me? Oh, how do you do that? Those are the kind of things you're going to hear throughout your life. And those are the things that people are telling you are your gifts. And so that is what you can share. Also, you're going to need to take time for yourself. You're going to need to hermit away. And that is natural. So just let people know you're going into your hermit season and you'll be back soon. 1-3s we did. Lisa is a 3-5, which is experimenting with life. That line 3 energy is up close and personal. And then the line 5 energy, which is the solutions provider, is on her unconscious side. So not as obvious to her, but still very obvious that she is a solutions provider. Chrissy's got the 5-1, excuse me, which is very much a person who has solutions. And again, not solutions for everyone. Follow your strategy and your authority to see who the right people are to receive those solutions. And that line 1 energy, going deep, integrating the information and bringing it out as something new. And then Sandra's got the 2-4, which is all about being a natural, having that hermit energy as well. And then that line 4 is the opportunist and getting her opportunities through her network. Okay, so that is how it all comes together. Experiment with all that I have taught you. Let me stop sharing. And we'll do a little wrap up. So that is how it comes together. And all you need to do is take your pause when you've got your cup of coffee, when you are sitting down to lunch, as your bum hits that seat, just be like, oh, how am I feeling? How am I feeling as I sit down in this break, right? What's your energy doing? Is there anything coming up for you that is requiring attention energetically? Is there frustration, anger, bitterness? Is there disappointment? How can you inform, respond, find an invitation, recognize an invitation, or sample the energy? These little things are going to make big shifts in your life if you use them. Okay, so it has been a pleasure sharing these 5 days with you. It has been an honor, and I hope that you got as much out of this as I put into it, because I love this stuff, and I just want you to be able to be in the flow, get out of the hustle mode, and be able to relax into life and to be able to thrive the way that you were designed to thrive, to prosper the way that you were designed to prosper, and to just I don't know, the words are escaping me, but I want you to have the life with no regrets, to have the life where you are thriving, where you feel fulfilled, where you feel like you matter, where you know that you are making the impact that you are designed to make. Okay, I believe that everyone comes here with a purpose, and I believe that you've found yours. So if you have any questions, pop them in the group. And thank you for sharing this time with me.